Thanks for joining me on another episode of Ducks Gun Chronicles. Guys, today's video, it is time to finally get the sailboat. We came up with a name, the Duck Dinghy, on the water. Excited to test it out. So just got back from that. The footage is going to be awesome. So stick around for that. But guys, if you're new here, make sure you hit the sub button. You don't want to miss out. The main gig of this channel is putting out the hunt content from the beginning of September to late season in February. We got tons of awesome hunts coming your way. Also guys, if you like duck hunting audio form, then check out the Duck Gun podcast, one of the biggest and best waterfowl podcasts in the industry. But without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So like I said, guys, it's all about the sailboat on the water today. So where to pick up from the last time, guys? We did some upgrades. We got an awesome paint job in there. Went with the olive camouflage paint there. The other thing I did is make this whole thing watertight. So I fiberglassed right through there. It doesn't look perfect, but there it is, all the way around to the back, which is a pretty important part of it too. Just so if I ever have any water that comes up on the side, which I did, then this whole area on the side is watertight. The other thing I added, which I will definitely be spray painting this and making it look a little better, is add a little rest spot for the mud motor so it's not going anywhere. But besides that, everything is just how you saw it on the last part. The last thing is the mud motor kit I put on here. So stick around, guys. First, let's show you kind of the what it looked like on the water, and then we'll get back to talking about and giving you a little review on the mud motor here. Little homemade boat. It's like a giant surfboard. Alrighty, now for the part you guys have been waiting for, the review of it on the water. So as you guys probably could see from that little highlight clip, it does really perform pretty well. So I wasn't really sure what to expect. One thing it does kind of slide a little bit. There's not grooves on the bottom, so the tracking isn't the best. But another concern people had was how heavy this thing was going to be with all the wood in there. Really, it's not that much wood. It's not that much wood when you think about it. I got 3/4 of a sheet of plywood. It's 1/2 inch thick, and then like 3 2x4s in there. So the amount of wood really isn't that bad. It doesn't feel like it's weighed down or heavy laden. But that being said, I did try to take it here in the thick muck. You can kind of tell that I'm stuck. So more or less I'm touching the bottom of this muck. It's not too bad. I really would have probably gave it the beans and gone a little harder, but I didn't want to do anything crazy on the first time out with this boat. And you guys know my experience with aluminum props. I'm pretty good at breaking those, and I didn't bring any of the extras. This was not the trip to go hard. I will apologize for the back and forth here with the head camera. I wasn't too sure about the boat yet, so I'm just kind of checking everything. But really, honestly, it did really well as far as keeping the mud motor, the prop in the wake behind the boat. It actually lined up pretty well again. For it not being designed for that, I mean, all purposes, it's doing great. So it's pretty stable, and it's ready to go. So there you guys see that weird wake I'm talking about coming right out of the middle. But another thing to mention is I don't really think that I would recommend with this type of setup to stand up. I mean, it is stable, but especially feels stable when you're sitting in it. But you know, your center of gravity on this small boat when you stand up is not great. Also, I will say I don't think it's a setup for big water. If you're going in some backwater places like I'm at, where it's pretty shallow everywhere, and if you're going to some marshes or something like that, that's kind of the ticket. I definitely would not take this anywhere where there's some big waves. But I really do wish I would have tracked the speed on this. I didn't think about it while I was out there, but I mean, honestly, this thing was flying. So it was a lot of fun to try to figure out. But as you can see right here, I kind of go and just spin out of control. Like I said, it doesn't track well if I don't have the prop in the water, and then I think my center of weight is too far forward. So I had thought that it would be a little back heavy with me and the motor, but that's really not the case. So I will probably end up taking the motor mount and spinning it around 180 to push the motor a little bit further back, because especially when Chief and decoys are in there, it's probably going to have too much weight forward. So with me and the motor, honestly, it's just about right, if not just a little too far forward. But overall, man, this honestly was a ton of fun to just rip around this little wetland area, and I'm so excited to use it during season. Get the blind, get it all brushed in and ready to go. Here's a little bonus mud footage, and then we'll get back to showing you guys the lowdown on the mud motor I went for on this build. Here is the kit, the mud motor kit. I went with the 6.5 horse. It's the first time I ever had a 6.5 horse mud motor. Here's the 13 horse, and you guys know I got the 23 horse as well on the big boat. So third mud motor, pretty crazy to say the least, but this thing did great. So it is the Beaver Dam Mud Runner. Beaver Dam Mud Runner. That's the sticker that's in with their kits there. Actually, I had a buddy recommend it, as well as I saw Send It John Boats. He does kind of comparison of all the different mud motors. I definitely would recommend checking that video out. It shows kind of the main differences in quality and all that, and I do think that this one is the best quality on this type of a mud motor you can go with. So not a ton of experience with it yet. First time out. I will say though, first time out, no issues. It's done great, and really wasn't too hard to put together. So that being said, guys, that's all I got for today. If you want to see a full review of the mud motor, stick around. I'm going to be making a video of that as well, probably coming out in the next week or two, to go on the channel. And then from there, you guys know what, we're going to be getting to the full swing of season, where hopefully I'll have some great hunts out of the sailboat duck dinghy build as well. But that's all I got for today, guys. I'm Jordan, Ducks Gun Chronicles, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Let's go.